I think the last topic, non-governmental organizations, NGO. The understanding of NGO, the relevance, the issues, measures. Now whatever we are discussing here, they are nothing but for your civil society organizations. Now please don't be confused if there is a word called civil society organizations in your exam. Civil society organizations, voluntary organizations. Voluntary organizations means whatever points are coming for SHG will come for your voluntary organizations, and whatever points are coming for your NGO will come for civil society organizations. Right? So when you look at the understanding of NGO, the basic understanding of NGO is it is a non-governmental body. It is a non-governmental body which is either registered as a society, which is either registered as a trust, which is either registered as a company. Which is either registered as a society, which is either registered as a trust, which is either registered as a company. Yes. Now when you look at non-governmental organizations, I said it is basically a bridge or a bridging mechanism between your government and people. This bridging mechanism is nothing but your NGO. Or whatever kind of governance vacuum or policy vacuum or policy deficit that is created by the mechanism of your government is going to be compensated or is going to be taken up by your NGO. This is the basic understanding of NGO. Now wherever there is governance mechanism vacuum, wherever there is a need for alternative for your government or governing mechanism, then NGO appears. Right? NGO which is not governmental in nature, which can be trust, which can be society, which can be registered as a company. Now when you look at the relevance, of NGO, what is the relevance of NGO?
The deficit which is created between the government and the people, it is being filled by NGOs.
One, they can ensure participative governance. They can ensure participative governance because of their proximity, administrative proximity.
Issue-specific approach.
Administrative proximity. The second one is issue-specific approach. Issue-specific or an element of expertise. You have an NGO for education. That means they work on the policies of education. You have an NGO for health. They work on the policies of health. You have an NGO on de-addiction or with respect to drug abuse, they work on that, or rehabilitation. So issue-specific or an element of expertise. The relevance is policy advocacy. They become the advocates for certain policy making. Policy advocacy. 4, they ensure accountability in public service delivery. They ensure accountability. The RTI as a tool of accountability was resultant of an activity of NGO. Okay. 5, policy evaluations. Policy evaluations. Policy evaluation.
So how is it different from policy advocacy?
Policy advocacy is you advocate for a particular policy, or you push or you exert, you act as a pressure group for government to create a particular policy. But policy evaluation is, it is basically talking about outcomes. For example, there is your ASAR. Your ASAR report, it talks about the outcomes of the education policy. That outcome oriented approach is given by this policy evaluations. You can talk about outcome oriented approach.
Also we can after policy.
Policy evaluation. They can even act as providing inputs for policy making. Apart from advocacy, they can even act as providing inputs for policy making. So these are the main functions of NGO or relevance. Make sense? Yes? Now issues with respect to NGO.
So also the scatter fund.
Yeah, they augment resources. Please add that they augment resources. They augment resources. They augment resources. Now, when you talk about these issues with respect to NGO, one issue is proliferation of NGO. Proliferation
On proliferation of
NGOs. You have roughly around 50,000 NGOs being registered per year. That's why UPSC board has an apprehension with respect to NGO. What is there? Just before interview, I go and register, and as I started an NGO. Who is looking into the functioning of it? Proliferation of NGOs or mushrooming of NGOs?
In the way forward, you can see for networking of the NGOs.
No.
Okay.
No. They'll never.
No. In way forward, like
No, they'll never.
they themselves don't work each other.
No. Because one of the speciality of NGO is issue specific approach.
The same on the same issue specific, like on the same issue we can club the.
No, that cannot happen. Because we are nobody to club, because it's a voluntary organization. Now, if school is a mechanism which is created by a government, so we are going for integrated model there. But when you talk about NGOs, if you want to combine, you can combine, or else your wish. We are nobody to direct. Okay. One is proliferation. Then next is registration. The issues of registration process. Now most of them are registered as shell companies. Shell companies, and they are mostly active in the activities of money laundering. Here, money laundering or organized crimes. Then the third issue is funding. Funding, there is no transparency or non-transparent funding. Non-transparent funding. Then when you talk about the other issue, there is multiplicity of authorities. For example, you have Foreign Contributions Regulating Act, FCRA.
Yes.
The NGOs that are acquiring any kind of foreign contributions, they are regulated under FCRA, which is regulated by your Ministry of Home Affairs. And a similar kind of act, which is FEMA, Foreign Exchange Management Act. This is by Ministry of Finance. Ministry of Finance. So multiplicity of authorities, or there is no uniform commanding head. Yes? Blockade activism. Blockade activism. Now, what do you basically mean by blockade activism is, for example, your Kudankulam plant. The protest against Kudankulam plant was by your Greenpeace, which is an NGO. Kudankulam, which was orchestrated by your Russia. Greenpeace, Kudankulam. So that is what is meant by blockade activism. Now basically all of the developmental processes are generally hindered by this blockade activism. Right?
Problem is you cannot understand which is genuine and which is
Yeah, that is there. Basically the genuinity or the perception of these NGOs. Okay. So this is all about the issues of NGO.
Sir, I think that is the main reason when you try to oppose something. I think that was the main reason actually.
Maybe. Then what is the solution? What is the solution? Proliferation means a regulatory body or digitization of registration process, or you can even talk about periodic review or periodic progress reports.
Like if at all there are such a huge number of organizations, how can we periodically review them?
We can.
There are so many organizations, but we don't have them.
We are supposed to. No other go.
But periodic review, isn't that hampering the function of the NGO?
Huh?
Because they are voluntarily coming and doing that.
But when you are leaving a free hand, it is leading to proliferation.
I mean, regulatory is okay.
Regulatory is one,
Digitization of-
but periodic review you can ask them for self-appraisal. That's why I talked about progress reports. Now when your investigative departments have gone and investigated, they found roughly around 1 lakh shell companies registered as NGOs, which basically demands or which basically is seen as a security threat. So, and if anything which is posing a security threat, and it is very important for us to control or have a periodic review.
So this can be set as internal security.
Yeah, you can talk about the organized network crimes or the organized crimes which basically use NGO as one of the channel of fund or channelizing funds. Then funding, you basically talk about IT Act or regularization of taxation process. Now there is less than 1% of NGO who have filed their taxes. Less than 1%. Then multiplicity of organizations. Then maybe you can have an uniform commanding authority. Maybe you can completely shift NGOs under Ministry of Home Affairs because it has greater perception there. Then blockade activism. What can you do for blockade activism?
We can't. Freedom of speech.
Basically again, regulation. Now there was one committee which was exclusively laid for was your Vijay Kumar committee. committee. Now you don't need to know the recommendations of Vijay Kumar. Just mention Vijay Kumar committee.
Regarding
NGOs.
To study the functioning of NGOs.
To study the functioning or to revitalize the functioning or to evaluate the functioning or to look into the business process re-engineering of NGOs, BPRs.
Flowery words.
so
Business process re-engineering. This is the term which your second ARC uses. Business process re-engineering is one of the administrative reforms.
how do people understand it?
Hmm?
How do people understand these sort of words?
Without understanding, you're not understanding, then ratta, mug up.
You get used to it.
No, not regarding the examination, sir. How do people understand? Normal people.
Why will they see that?
It's for the people, right?
It's,
ఎవరు చదివిన వాళ్ళకే అది చదువుతారు.
శశికళ
మిగతా వాళ్ళకి
It's for the people.
నువ్వు చదువుతావా?
let me finish, guys. Then you'll have all the evening. Huh? Right? So this is all about NGOs. For civil services, the thing that you're supposed to remember is, or the role of civil services, most of them are, or the relevance is very similar. Where is the relevance? Did I wipe? No, it is there. Most of them is very similar, but only thing that it is not participative. It is not participative, but it has proximity with respect to field level implementations. Yes, field level implementations. For civil services. Then you have expertise, then you have accountability, then advocacy, or I'll not say advocacy, I'll talk about policy implementations. Policy implementations. Then if you're part of any regulatory, you basically need to go for outcome orientation. And other relevance of civil services is for organic relation between political and permanent executives. Organic relation between political and permanent executives.
We have expertise.
Yes.
We will be having a consultant, like person who is coming from diverse background will be holding the bureaucratic position.
So what?
Will be an expert.
Based on field work. Now one of the major debate against lateral entry is they'll not have field work.
But they have expertise, right? That is why
They have expertise but not issue specific. Now how can you administer a particular district by bringing some businessman into civil services?
not into civil services, but
Lateral entry is what? Joint secretary into bureaucratic structure.
He'll replace entirely the joint secretary. He'll replace the bureaucrat, like IAS officer, and he'll be a joint secretary in that place. Or he'll be a parallel organization.
Parallel. He'll become part of it. It can so happen that he can even boss your IAS or junior level collector or junior level IAS officer. That's why people are crying. Why? Now again UPSC has given notification for 14 lateral entries. That means this year's notification is going to be lesser again. Last year only there were around 770 posts. But this year notification which will be upcoming, I think it is yet to come. Ucha kota. Tough time with BJP. I should have finished my graduation little early, I feel. Because Congress used to give 1400, 1500, 1700, 1200. Now hardly 700, 800.
So what was the last point? The organic relation between political and
Permanent executive. So this is the major relevance or role of civil services in democracy. Then issues, whatever governance issues you have, those are the issues of civil services. Then measures are your civil services reforms. Now whenever you are writing civil services reforms, please split it into one, the selection process, then training, then evaluation. So at each stage some 2 points. Sufficient.
Selection training.
Evaluation. That's it, class. Which one?
Role of women in combat.
Role of women in combat.
Pros and
Pros and cons. Role of women in combat. Positive aspect is diversity in workforce. Diversity in workforce. Inclusion. Diversity in workforce, inclusion. That means basically gender inclusive approach. Leveraging on greater potential of women to adapt. They have a greater potential compared to male members because of their genetic advantages. Now when you talk about negative, one, the patriarchal mindset. So because of this patriarchal mindset, subjugation. Patriarchal mindset, so subjugation, where they will not be given any field postings but desk jobs.
Yes.
Desk jobs. NCC cadet, you must be knowing. Yes. Did you face any kind of gender discrimination during NCC?
No, nothing, sir.
No? It was
All are equal.
all are equal. Very good. Other negative is harsh working conditions. Harsh working conditions. Balance of maternity. Maternity is an issue. Maternity is an issue.
Recently, some army officials also stated that if they are participating in combat role, if they were captured by enemy, it will affect the morale of the army also.
Now you can see with respect to morale of the army, it can so happen that the morale of the army can be boosted also because of the gender inclusive approach. It can be, it can be hit because of whatever condition you have mentioned. Whatever condition that army officer has mentioned is little more a patriarchal mindset. Now do you think only female cadets are going to be caught? You have even your male cadets. That's little more. When you look at the mindset of army people, they are groomed very well, no doubt. But they have that bossy nature, I don't understand why. They have that bossy nature and mostly patriarchal, and all of the army people are mostly 90% they are against this women in combat role. At least Indian army. Right? So I think with this we have successfully completed internal security, society and governance. Right? So anything you want to ask, I'm there on your Telegram in a group. I think it's a name of Sai. It will be there. SAI. Okay, and if I'll tell Chakri also to pin me as faculty there, so that it will be easy for you to search and find. Any other doubts you can contact. All the best. Don't forget to make 10 hours a habit. Never ever forget that. Right? All the best, guys. Don't worry. Be happy. Eat well, sleep well, play well, study well. That's all I can say, because this exam is all about just a matter of time. Just a matter of time. You just need to have commitment and everybody will clear it. If not first, then second. If not second, third. If not third, fourth. If not fourth, then fifth. If not fifth, then sixth. Then if not sixth, then that is not the end of the life. Because you would have learned what life is by then. You would have learned what life is by then. So nothing to worry. You will anyway have certain career options once you have spent so much of time with civil services. Nothing to worry. Be little planned. Be committed. Hit it. Right? Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.